Let me know guys if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Okay, so till now we have covered the JavaScript. So from today onwards, we will totally focus on SAP UI5 concepts. And once the SAP UI5 the concepts are or the topics are completed, then we will start with the theory part. Okay. So any one of you have any idea about SAP UI5? Are you guys? Did you get a chance to? Did you get any chance to analyze or any idea about the SAP UI5?
I only take that I have last year I have practiced on OData services. So that time I have only take how to user putting the data and he is using the UI5 control like user interface. And then after how do we get data in backend in OData? So I only saw that this thing only.
Okay, yeah, that is also fine. As a beginner, though, that is also fine. What about the rest people? Okay, I think for the silence I can take the answer as maybe no. So let me tell you something about the SAP UI5 today. Okay, so before I talk about the SAP UI5, let me tell you how the SAP UI5 was invented. Okay, what was the purpose? So history of SAP UI5. So I think most of you are ABAP developers, right? So what I can say in ABAP developers, maybe ABAP peoples, they normally use SAP GUIs, right? It is one kind of the front end screen or which is provided by SAP for developing some applications in GUI, right? So these screens, I think what is dependency for those screens or those application is that we need SAP GUI for it. Without that, you cannot independently run those applications on mobile or anything. Those applications are also not responsive kind of thing. But today, you can see in this current era, what is there? Any application you develop, mostly the people are using those applications on the mobile devices as a first preference, rather than the laptop or the desktop, I can say, or the tablets also. Mostly the business operations are carried over the tablet or the mobiles nowadays. So let's taking that demand from the user, SAP thought of so what they have done. So they have come up with the team members. The team members consist of 5 to 6 members. Okay, and they said that project as a project Phoenix. Okay, so before SAP UI5 is developed, so that whatever the project they have started, the project name was a Phoenix, and it was started in early November 2008. Okay, so that team was consist of 5 to 6 members, and none of them were having any idea about what SAP will do nowadays. Okay, by integrating them, all of them. Okay, so that was one thing. So what SAP was saying that they want some technology that should be robust, that should be flexible, okay, that should be scalable, and the most important, the user appearance, the user interface of that thing must be more appealing. Okay, so that one thing that SAP was requesting, because nowadays the front end thing is most important, right? It's a most important to the user rather than what is inside, how that application works insidely, right? That is not that user don't matter. That means for the user, what user will see, user will not see how the application is working from the inside. User will only focus on how the UI is looking from the front end, right? On the mobile, how it is looking, how appealing it is, how the application can be, how the operation can be performed easier manner. So that all things user will know. So taking all these things into consideration, so SAP came up with the SAP UI5. Okay, so what is the UI5? Let me tell you what is the SAP UI5. Okay, so let's see. UI5, it is nothing but SAP UI5 is, it is based on JavaScript, HTML and CSS. Okay, so SAP UI5 is completely based on JavaScript, HTML and CSS. So based on this all three technologies, so JavaScript, HTML and CSS, it is one of the most popular web technologies, right, as in the today. So based on all these technologies, SAP invented this SAP UI5 framework. Okay, so SAP UI5 is a framework. So why SAP UI5 is called as a framework? So framework, anyone can tell me what is the framework? What you can say the means what this word means, the framework. Anyone? We don't have a lot of time. Okay, so let me tell you what is the framework. A framework is the thing that, suppose let's take an example of SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 is a framework. Why it is called as a framework? Because it provides a built-in classes. Okay, it provides a built-in classes, methods. It also provides the events. It also provides the properties. Why they are providing all these things? Because in order to develop the business application, those whatever the application we will develop, that are totally based on the already things that SAP is providing. Okay, so that's why it is a framework. Means a framework is a thing that that provides properties, methods, or anything you can call it as. Okay, the classes. It is an integration of all these things. So that's why SAP UI5 is called as a framework. Okay, we are not using anything out of the library from what the SAP is providing. So SAP is already providing SDK, development toolkit for developing the business-based web applications. So that's why SAP UI5 is a framework. So framework means it provides all the things as a ready-made. You don't have to write any extra code. So everything is ready-made available. You just have to use those APIs. So that is one thing in SAP UI5. Next thing, whichever the application you developed using SAP UI5 are totally responsive. Okay, applications developed using SAP UI5 are totally responsive. So what is responsive? So responsive means suppose you are developing one application, rather than writing all the different code for each and every platforms. For example, let's take you developed one application, and once you develop that application is running independently without writing any code on mobile also, on desktop also, and all tablets also. Okay, so application which are responsive, that means that application will definitely run on mobile. Tablet and desktop. So that is nothing but a responsive web applications. Okay, in SAP UI5 you are not writing any extra code. One piece of code is sufficient to run that application on any platform. Okay, you don't have to write any extra code for mobile or any extra code for tablet or desktop. One code which is already written, it is sufficient to run the application on any platforms. So that's why the application developed using SAP UI5 are totally responsive. Okay, so next, what it is? So which application we are developing? So in SAP UI5 we normally develop the hybrid application. Okay, so application normally we develop using SAP UI5 hybrid application. So what are the hybrid application? The applications which will directly run on the Android also, on Windows it's already running with the help of browser, and that can also run on the iOS. means on the Apple devices. Okay, only we need to build the APK, and based on that, that application can directly run on any platforms. Okay, any operating system. So that is one thing. So applications using SAP UI5 are hybrid. Okay, so this is one thing. So now okay, so the fifth point is SAP supports MVC architecture. Okay, so before explaining the MVC architecture, let me explain you the architecture of SAP UI5. Okay, so for that, let me open the architecture. So are you guys able to see this architecture? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So SAP architecture is divided into 3 tiers. Okay, so on top you can see this is the presentation layer. Okay, so on middle, the middle layer is nothing but it is the application client layer, and in the bottom we have the application server layer. So what is doing on the top of presentation layer? What is happening? So these are just the devices, okay, which are consuming these libraries. So in this application client layer, we have some number of libraries like sap.m library. So these all are the libraries that are consumed by this presentation layer devices. Okay. So in the bottom we have the what we have. This is the database, or you can call it as a backend, where actually all the data, whatever we are representing on this presentation layer, that is with the help of this backend data, right? So if you want to write any business logic, that can be written inside the NetWeaver gateway, that is in the ABAP and all, right? This is just a simple overview of the architecture of SAP UI5. So let me revise this thing. So on top we have the presentation layer, okay, and this presentation layer means these devices consumes the application with the help of these libraries. So this is the area where the application is developed, okay, the front end application, and after that the final outcome, whichever the application we develop, those application will run on these devices, okay. And in the bottom we have the backend layer. So this is the backend layer where all the business logic can be written in order to fetch the data from the database. Okay. Any questions in this architecture?
Yeah, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
There is a like NetWeaver as a ABAP and that Java. So there is no database layer. First one is application layer.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, you can continue.
Sorry, I was not.
Yeah, actually, I have one doubt. Like there is a 3 layers, right? First one is a presentation layer, then application layer. So there is no database layer, like in SAP, like.
Right. So application server means this is the backend only. You can call it as the server.
Okay, then backend you mean like.
Right.
Sorry?
What I'm saying, when the server will come into play, when you want to deploy this application on the servers, okay. So normally the SAP Fury is on site, it's on the server side. So for that you need a connection, right? So normally you deploy this application on ABAP repository. So ABAP repository is one kind of thing where you deploy your application. So this consists of your backend also.
Okay, you mean like the UI connected with the OData in backend. So with the help of OData, we are using the database layer, right?
Right.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so means don't worry on that part. When we will see the actual OData, and so we will also see the the deployment, the configuration of SAP Fiori application, right? So in that case, I'll tell you these things. How with the help of the connection we are able to deploy the application, and what is the role play. Okay, so what are the systems that are available for deployment? Okay, so that much. Any questions apart from this?
Hello.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, do we develop the application on application client?
Right. We will be developing the application on application client only. So normally we use the browser, okay? And in the browser, what we use? We actually use the IDs, the development environment. So where already the environment is there, so that same like that I will explaining. So that is one thing I have to cover after this.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so let me go back, and so this was the architecture of SAP UI5. So now let me explain the next thing, that is the model view concept. Okay, model view controller concept. Okay, so SAP UI5 uses the model view controller concept. Okay, so so what is this model view controller? Can anyone tell me what is this MVC? I think you guys have already heard about the MVC architecture. It's very popular nowadays. Okay, no worries about this. Okay, so let me tell you what is a model view controller. Okay, so I'll open this diagram. Okay, so in SAP normally the development is divided into the three parts. Okay, the controller, view, and the model. So why they have divided these three parts? Because in order to reduce the complexity from the developer's mind. Okay, so if you are a developer and if you want to make any changes in the controller side, okay, or in the view side, so you can directly do it with the help of view. If you know that I have to change some control, you can directly open this file, right, the view file, and you will directly make those changes in the view rather than going into controller or model. Okay, in order to reduce the complexity, or in order to reduce the development time, that's why the SAP, they have come up with this MVC architecture. Okay, so in SAP UI5 all the development is carried using the MVC architecture. So what is this model view controller? So let me first explain you the model. So what is the model? So in SAP UI5 everything is a model only. Okay, without model you cannot do anything in SAP UI5. Okay, let's take a simple example. So you develop one application, okay, but from the backend we have the OData services. Okay, using the ABAP you develop the OData services, and what I have to do, I have to fetch the data, right? So with the help of model, as a front-end developer, as a UI5 developer, what I will do, I will store that data inside the model. So after storing the data inside the model, after that I can easily manipulate whichever operation if I want to perform on that data, I can easily do it with the help of model. So if you are a beginner, so you just make sure that whenever you fetch any data, or if you want to work with the data, the model is very important concept in that. Okay, without model you cannot do anything. Okay, so model is a place where the data will be stored and where you can manipulate the data. If you want to if you want to perform any operation, you can easily perform in the model. Okay, understood this model thing? So for model there is a different concept we have in this not in today's lecture. In the coming session we have the models concept. I will definitely explain that in a detail. Okay, the model concept. As of now, just understand the model means the data manipulation. Okay, so then we have the view. What is the view thing? So view thing is in SAP UI5, normally the view, whatever the view we will develop, so that view will be developed using the XML files. Okay, so in this you already know the HTML, right? In HTML we use the tags, but same like the HTML we have the XML. Okay, so why SAP uses the XML? So that we will also cover in this today's session only. But as of now, just understand that view is nothing but it is just a user interface. Okay, just a user interface or a display purpose. If you want to design any screen, that can be done inside the view part. Okay. And finally we have the controller. So what is a controller? So suppose in the view I have declared one button or anything, a button or list. Okay, so when I click on the button, what will happen? An event will be triggered. Okay, one action will be performed. So that action will be captured inside the controller file. Okay, so controller is responsible to update the data in the model and also update the data on the view side. Okay, so if you want to perform or if you want to open anything, just take, if you directly press on the button, and after pressing the button, what will happen? If you want to open one dialog box or the pop-up, so the code, basically the JavaScript code all will be written inside the controller part. Okay, we will never write the JavaScript code inside the view file. If you want to write the business logic or a controller logic, that logic can be written inside the controller file. Okay, so this was the MVC architecture. Okay, so let me revise all these points. That the controller, it is the thing where you will write your business logic. Okay, the business logic means the JavaScript code. So if you want to capture anything, any user action, and based on that user action, if you want to perform any action, so that you can do with the help of this controller. So what is this view? View is just a user interface. You will just design the screens in the view file. And in the rest we have the model. Model is a place where the data will be stored from the whichever the data you will fetch from the backend. Okay, with the help of OData services. Okay, got it? Any questions in this MVC architecture?
No, not from my side.
No.
Okay, so let's go back and now okay, so let's revise all these points. So UI5 is a framework. So framework means which provides the ready-made libraries like the libraries, properties, methods. Okay, so that's why the UI5 is a framework. So the application that we will develop using the SAP UI5 are totally responsive. Responsive means that application can run on any devices. After that, whichever application we will develop using SAP UI5 are hybrid. That means one code is sufficient to run on any the operating systems. Okay, on any OS. And then we have the MVC. The SAP UI5 supports the architecture of model view controller. Okay, so now let's see the versioning of SAP UI5. So what is the versioning? Versioning and maintenance of SAP UI5. Okay, so in SAP UI5, what would be the versions? Okay, because the SAP was invented in early 2008, and so now today it's 2021. So in this complete years, though, there are various versions that SAP has already invented for this SAP UI5. Okay, so every month they release the new version for SAP UI5. Okay, so let me tell you what SAP is doing. So SAP UI5 uses the 3-digit version identifier. Okay, so let's take a simple example of 1.71.22. Okay, so this is the version. So this is the version identifier where SAP UI5 is using currently as of now. So it is a 3-digit 1, 2 and 3. Okay, consider as it is. So what is the 1? 1 means it is the release number. Okay, it is the release number, or you can also call it as major version. Okay, and what about the 71? 71 means it is the version number, okay, or you can also call it as minor version. And in the last we have the 22. 22 means just a patch number. Okay, so this is just a versioning of the versions of SAP UI5. Means I have just explained the version, that is a 1.71.22, in which 1 is the release number, 71 is the version number, and 22 is the patch number. So how SAP is doing? So every month SAP is releasing the new versions, okay, based on their requirement, and each version they are keep adding, means they are continuously adding some new features, okay, for the development perspective, because depending on the user's requirement, they just try to reduce the complexity for the developers, so that based on whichever the versions they add newly in the version, so it makes the developers life easy, okay. So that is one thing with the versioning. But what about the ABAP side? Okay, so you already know the SAP NetWeaver gateway, right, where you actually do the development kind of thing in ABAP. Okay, so there is also the front end server. Okay, but as a ABAP perspective, in ABAP perspective, SAP every year only the 2 versions are released with the with respect to this ABAP. That we will cover in detail when we actually deploy the applications. Okay, at the time of the configuration of app on the Fury Launchpad, we will see in detail. So, okay, so that is related to the versioning. So what about the maintenance? Before going to the maintenance, the latest version of SAP UI5 is now 1.88. Okay, so now this is the latest version. Sorry. Okay, so 1.88, it is the latest version of SAP UI5. So what about the maintenance? So as a developer, you cannot use the latest version. Okay, just keep in mind. So if you are a developer and if client is saying that please develop one application in SAP UI5, you will not develop the application on the latest version. Why? Because you first need to check what is the maintenance, and support provided by SAP for that version. Okay, just keep in mind. So let's take there are some number of versions for which SAP has provided the long-term maintenance support. Okay, so like sorry. Okay, so for long-term maintenance support, SAP is providing the versions like 1.38. Okay, for 1.38 there is also the long-term support, and we also have 1.52, then we have 1.60, and there is also 1.71. okay, and now the latest one is 1.84. okay, so these are the version for which SAP has provided the long-term support. Okay, so based on, if client is saying that if you want to develop an application, okay, and you just need to check the SAP system version also on which you are going to deploy the application. If there is already the UI component installed for that SAP version at the latest, the 1.71 or 1.84, so based on that you can definitely use this version. Okay, but make sure that whenever you will develop any application, you will develop the application based on this version numbers. Okay, because for this version only the long-term maintenance support is provided by the SAP. Means you don't have to do anything, any extra logic or any extra support in order to make sure that the application is keep running. Okay, so any questions in this the versioning and the maintenance of SAP UI5?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. So just keep in mind that if any company is saying that to develop an application, make sure you develop the application using these versions only. Okay, you will never develop application using the latest version, because for this version the long-term maintenance is not provided by the SAP. The maintenance means if anything goes wrong into the application, then what will happen? Again, you need to update that application, right? Also, you need to update the SAP UI5 version. So instead of doing all this thing, you make sure to develop the application using the long-term maintenance version. Okay, so this is all about the versioning and all about the SAP UI5. So what about the tools? Okay, so what about the tools in SAP UI5? Which are the tools which are available as of now for development of SAP UI5 applications? Do you mean any one of you have any idea about this? What are the tools currently available in the market for development of UI5 application? Highly appreciated if anyone can tell me this, the tools. Okay, no worries on that. Okay, let's see. So the tool which from which we can do the development of the UI5 application was on Eclipse. Okay, so previously in the early 2008 or 10 period, what was happening? We used to use the Eclipse, and in Eclipse, all the SAP UI5 development was carried over. Okay, after that, we have Web ID. Okay, we have Web ID personal edition. Okay, so using the Web ID personal edition, also the development was carried over. Okay, so normally the developers are using the Web ID personal edition also to do the development task if they want to develop. So this consists of this was not from the SAP side. Okay, the Eclipse was a different environment, but SAP just they have just invented this one, Web ID personal edition, in order to do the SAP UI5 development. After that, the Web ID personal edition, that was one thing. So they have also invented the Web ID full stack version. Okay, so as of now, this is only the version Web ID full stack. So this is only the version currently all the organizations are using nowadays. Okay, but I think in coming 2 or 3 years, this will also get deprecated. Means nobody will use it. Why? Because they are so nowadays the new tool is BAS. What is this? This is the Business Application Studio. So this is the new tool which is completely based on Visual Studio Code. Okay, so the UI user interface, it's completely based on Visual Studio Code. So this is the new tool on which the SAP is still working, and it's not in the stable state as of now. It's in the beta version. Means as of now there are a few issues still which are nowadays facing if you are trying to do any development in this. Okay, but as of now, just focus on this only 2 versions. Okay, Web ID personal edition and Web ID full stack. Okay, so normally Web ID full stack is only the thing which is currently ongoing now. Okay, so these all are the tools which are available for the SAP UI5. So, but in our session, we will completely do the development task on the Web ID personal edition because it's a free, right? That's why. Okay, so any queries, questions in this tools? Okay.
No, sir.
No? Okay, sure. So then what we will do, so let's start our let's create our first application. Okay, in Web ID personal edition, let's see what are the things that required in order to develop the application, and what things we can keep in mind before developing this. Okay, before developing the UI5 applications. So let's see. So I think you guys know, right, how to open the Web ID, the personal edition. If you don't know, so whatever the file I have shared with you guys, So in that, after extraction, so let's say this is the folder, okay? So web ID, this is the folder. After that, once you open, you have the Eclipse folder. So inside that, we have the Orion file, okay? So this is the file. What you need to do, you need to just open this. As of now, it's currently running. I'll just close it. Okay, I'll close this. So I'll open this one. So once I open, so this will open the one command prompt kind of thing. Okay, just wait for a few seconds. Okay, once this thing is done, so what you need to do, you need to just go back to your browser, the Chrome browser. Mostly prefer the Chrome browser, okay, for the UI5 development. So now just type the localhost. So this is the URL. This URL will not run. Make sure that in order to this URL to run, make sure you open this file, okay? If your command prompt is running, then only this URL will work, otherwise it will not work, okay? So once you hit enter, so it will open this page. So if you have already created the account, so you just need to click on this one, okay, this option. So just enter your username. Okay, once that is done, it will load your web ID personal edition, okay? So this tool is completely developed by SAP for if you want to develop the applications for the UI5, okay? So once it is loaded, just close this file pop-up. So now this is your workspace, okay? Normally you will it will navigate you to this page, okay? So instead of there is also the option open my workspace. So what is the workspace? Workspace means it is the workspace for you where all the projects can be located, okay? So that's why it is called as a workspace. So what I will do, I will click on this. So this is the actual development part or the code editor where you can find your projects. Once you click on this, you can find a workspace, okay? So under the workspace, you can develop the multiple applications, okay? Multiple project files can be created under the workspace, okay? If you want to create a new workspace, that can also be done. So let's create our first project in SAP UI5. How to create a first project in SAP UI5 using the web ID personal edition, okay? So this is our workspace. Just right click on this, okay? So there is the new option, okay? Once you click on the new option, again we have the n number of options. So in that we need to select the option as a project from template, okay? So this is the option. So once you select this option, you can see there are multiple options, okay? Multiple template selection that you can do once you select the project from template option, okay? So what are this? So we have the multiple options, like we also can search if you want. There is also the category. If you want to develop the application specific to the Fury or the Fury elements, okay, that we will cover in the coming session. Just focus on these templates as of now. So I told you, right, regarding the SAP UI5 version. So we have some SAP UI5 version for which the long-term support is already provided, okay? So there are some versions for which the long-term, so based on this version you can select any one of you. As of now I will just select this 1.52, okay? So I will select that one. So once I select, then we have to choose the template, okay? So what are this template? So first I'll explain you the SAP UI5 application template. So by default it is selected. Why? Because if you are a developer and if company is saying you want to create an application completely from the scratch, okay, so what this UI5 template will do, it will give you the blank template, okay? So none of the controls are added into this template. From scratch you have to manually add each and every control based in order to fulfill your requirement. So that's why SAP UI5 application template, it is a blank template that SAP is providing. What about the list report template? So once you click on the list report, we have here the template. Okay, so this is the generic image of a template. So what is the list report? List report means we have the left hand side list. Once you click on that list, one page will be opened with all the descript, means it will give the detailed information about that list item, okay? So this is just a list report. And in the end we have the Fury master detail template. So what is this Fiori master detail template? Okay, I'll open this image. On left hand side you can see this is the master thing. Okay, so this is the master place where all the list is placed, and once you click on this, the right hand side content will open. So this right hand content means this is the detailed report. Okay, this is the master section and this is the detail section. That's why the template is called as master and detail section. Okay, master and detail template. Okay, so this was the master detail. And what about the Fiori worklist template? So this is the simple template with which on the top we have the search panel, and in the bottom we have the we have the list. Once you click on any one of the list, the second page will be opened with the descriptive information related to the clicked item. Okay, so this all are templates that SAP is providing. So as a developer, if company is saying that I just want to display the items in the list format, then you can definitely prefer the SAP Fiori worklist template. Okay, but make sure that in order to work these templates, you must have to configure the OData services. Okay, without OData services it will not work. Okay, so if you want to develop some application that if later you are going to consume the OData services, mainly we will prefer the UI5 application. Okay, if you want to develop one custom application, so that can definitely will be done with the help of UI5 template. Okay, so once any questions in this, the template related things?
No.
Okay. Okay, so I will select the SAP UI5 application template and I'll click on next. So once I click on the next, then we have the two options. Okay, not two options, we have the two fields where we have to enter the things. So first is the project name. Okay, so project name is mandatory thing. Without that you cannot create a project. Okay, so what the project name you can give in the SAP. Okay, so on Fiori Launchpad you guys are already aware of. Maybe if you don't know, let me tell you the thing. The project name must be less than or equal to 15 characters. Okay, in SAP normally the project name must start with the Z character. Why? Because the Z character is for the custom application. Okay, but rest you cannot create application using any other characters like A, B, anything, because that are already reserved in SAP. So whenever you will create any application, make sure that application will be created using the Z alphabet. Okay, got it? Are you guys able to understand this thing?
Yes.
Okay. So normally, as of now, I'm not going to deploy this application right on the Fiori Launchpad. So I can use any name. But as far as if you want to deploy this application on the Fiori Launchpad, make sure that your application, your project name must start with a Z character, and that character length must be less than 15 or equal to 15 characters. That's it. Okay. So as of now, I'll just create a Z login. That's it. Z login app. Okay. So after that we have the namespace. Okay, so what is the namespace? So namespace is just a thing that that will identify your application. Okay, it's just for the bootstrapping purpose, so initial loading of your application. So this namespace is mainly dependent on your organization, for which client you are going to develop. Suppose let's take example of any company, like let's take an example of Sony company. Okay, so Sony is your client, and for Sony you are going to develop a application, UI5 application. So what you will do, normally you will use the you will write the namespace as com.sony. That's it. Okay, so generally we define the namespace in this format. Okay, we declare the namespace in this format, com.sony. If you are working for any client, so I think the client will definitely tell you these things. Okay, so these are just development guidelines that you will get when you are going to develop an application. Okay, from the client or maybe from your organization, that what would be the namespace. Make sure that namespace must be the unique. Okay, so the application name. So what will happen once I enter the namespace? As of now, what I can give, I will give as a com.login. That's it. Okay, I'll just click on next. Now we have the view tabs. Okay, so this is the place where you have to select the views, right? We in the model view concept, MVC concept, we have seen the view is there, model is there, and control is there. So same like before we create the project, we have to select the view file. Okay, the what type of view you are going to use in this XML part. You are going to use this in application development. So normally by default the XML is selected, right? Why the XML is selected? Because SAP is saying that you have to use XML rather than any other files like JSON, JavaScript, or HTML. Why the XML? Why we are using the XML? Because XML is very easy to read as a readability concern and maintainability concern. Okay, for that we will definitely prefer the XML because it is faster. The XML page load faster, and the parsing is also done in the faster format for the XML. Okay, and SAP first thing, the SAP only recommends to use the XML file, okay, rather than using any other file. Why? Because as of now we are using the MVC architecture. If we use the JSON or JavaScript or HTML, what will happen? Not HTML. Normally we are not preferring the HTML. Okay, normally we use the JavaScript. In case of suppose you are using the JavaScript as a view type, so what will happen? You will write JavaScript code, right? But we don't have to write the JavaScript code. We have to keep the code clean. We have to keep the controller logic separate, right? So if you keep writing the JavaScript code inside the XML file, what will happen? You will violate the standard rules of MVC, right? The MVC rules will get violated. So in order to avoid all these things, that's why the SAP recommends to use the XML template, XML view file rather than any other view file. Okay, so I select the XML. Then we have the view name. So let's give the view name as an app. You can give any name if you want, app or login. So today in this session we will develop one login page. Okay, using this. So I'll say this is the login page. Okay, so once I have given the view name, after that we have the two options, next or finish. I can either click on next or finish. So I'll click on next. So nothing is there, so it just says that a project will be created in your workspace. Okay, I'll click on finish. So once I done, your project will be created. Any questions so far in this project? Project creation, any doubts?
No.
Okay. No. Okay, so now we have created the Z login app as a new project which is under the workspace. So let me expand this. So in that we have the three files. Okay, the web app. So web app it is the place where we actually do the development. Okay, so rest we have the project.json and new app.json. So the new app.json file, it's basically it just have the setup files. Okay, all the route or anything, all these things are already declared in the JSON format. What is the JSON format? JavaScript object notation file. Okay, so these things are already included. As of now, just don't focus on this project.json, new app.json. Okay, just focus on this web app as a beginner. So inside the web app we have the folders, n number of folders. So what mainly you have to focus? You have to focus on these three folders: the controller folder, the model folder, and the view folder. So view folder, if you want to create any folder, if you want to add any pages, or if you want to create a new pages, that can be done inside the view folder. Okay, or if you want to add any business logic, that can be done inside the controller folder. And if you want to add any store any data related whichever is coming from the backend, that can be done inside the model folder. Okay, so as a beginner, just focus on this the files, the folders, that is the controller, the model, and the view. Okay, so apart from this, let me explain you what is the component.js, what is the index.html, and what is the manifest.json. Okay, so what is the component.js file? So this is the component.js file. So previously what used to happen, all this data, Parallelly, I will also open the manifest.json file. I'll make it as a code editor. Okay. Previously, what used to happen, all this code, whatever the content you can see inside the manifest.json, that was already included in component.json file, component.js file. Okay, so there is a slight difference between .js and .json. So JSON is, it's mainly we use, if you're a person and if you want to post the data, right? As a ABAP, you normally create a services in the JSON format, right? The whatever the data I will receive, that would be in the JSON format only. So we will see what is the JSON in the coming sessions. Okay. As of now, just focus on. So this file, the JSON file is lot much faster than the JS file. Okay. That's why what SAP has done, whatever the content we can see inside the manifest.json, which was already included in the component.js file. Okay, so they have removed all this content and they have included in the manifest.json file. Okay, so this was the thing that they have done. So what is the manifest.json file? Manifest.json file means you have created this project, right? So whatever the configuration, whatever the property, anything, the UI5 application version, your application related details, that you can find out inside the manifest.json file. Okay, so manifest.json file, it is the place where you can find all the configuration details like your application version, your application namespace. You can also find out the min UI5 version, if you from where your application can run. Okay, and you can also find out the data or the models that you will create, and you can also find out the configuration of routes. Okay, so these all topics we will cover in the coming session, but as of now just focus on that. Manifest.json means it is just a your application related details. Okay, if you want to find out your application version, you can easily find out in this SAP UI5 version, in this manifest.json file. So what about this component.js file? When you run your application, the first file that would be invoked is the component.js file. Okay, so in component.js file, they have already declared the JSON file, the manifest JSON file. Okay, so this file will get called when your component file is called first. First, your component.js file will be called when you run the application, and in that the init method will be done. Okay, this method will be invoked directly, automatically by the UI5 on the runtime. Okay, so once this init method is called, automatically the manifest.json file will get loaded. So all the application configuration is it's already there, already present inside the manifest.json file. Okay, so just don't focus on this file. Just keep in mind that manifest.json file, it is a place where you will find all the application related details, your project related details. Okay, so now let's create our first control, right? So as a beginner, what I will do, before creating the control, I'll select this, and if I want to run this application, right? So either you have to select your application, and after that you have to click on this run icon. Okay, so this is your run icon, or there is also a separate option, there is also a different option, like you have to right click on your project folder, so there is a run option. Okay, so you select this run as, and in run as select the web application. Okay, once you select the web application, what will happen? Your application will be opened in new tab in the Chrome only. Okay, let's wait. It will take some time normally.
That application similarly look like as a webbed info application. There is
Yes,
also like component controller.
Right. Yes, similar, but not like WebDyn Pro, because WebDyn Pro applications that are not responsive, right? But this application, you can change each and everything in the UI5. That is one thing. But in WebDyn Pro, I don't think so that all feasibility can be done, right? Feasibilities
Yes,
are
yes.
not
Actually,
possible.
web developer is absolutely from SAP last
Yes.
2 to 5 years.
Okay. So this is your application normally, and it's a blank, right? Because we have used the UI5 template, the first template, and that's why everything is null. So you cannot see any one of the controls. Okay. So now I'll just go back. So now what I will do, I will create the I will create one control. Okay. So before creating the control, first I will open this file. Okay. So before I declare the control, let me explain you what is the structure of this XML file. Okay, so why this structure is already available, because we haven't added this thing, right? It's already there. So let me tell you what is this. Okay, so in SAP UI5, so what is this MVC colon view? So I'll open the new tab. I'll search for the SAP UI5 SDK. Okay, so when I search for SAP UI5 SDK, so there is the first link that we have to choose, this one. Once you click on this, it will open the development toolkit. Okay, so this is the development toolkit that SAP has already created for us to make sure that to make easier the developers life. Okay, so this is the place where you can find all the controls that are available with respect to the versions. Okay, so this is the version also. So as of now, currently the latest version is 1.88.0. Okay, and if you're developing the SAP UI5 application based on 1.50 to anything, so you can easily change the version here. Okay, once you click on this change version, you can find the versions also, whichever you want. Okay, so which version I have selected? 1.52, right? So what I will do, I will select this one. Automatically this development toolkit will reload, and based on that, whatever the controls which are available for that version 1.52, that only will be displayed. Okay, under the API reference or anything. So when you load this development toolkit, we have the this sections, right? The documentation, API reference, samples, demo apps, and the tools. Okay, so what I have to do, so as of now, just focus on API reference and the samples. Okay, as a beginner level, just focus on API reference and samples. So what is the API reference? So API reference, it is a place where, suppose if I want to use the button control. Okay, if I want to use the button control, so that all the information related to the button control, it's already included. Okay, it's already included in this API reference. So let's search for the button control. Okay, so this is the button control, right? So there are also the different buttons which are available, like a button type, menu button. So just ignore this thing. So now let's focus on the button control. Okay, so this is the button control. Okay, once I click on the button control, it will load. Let's wait. Okay, so this is the button control. So now where is your button control included? Okay, which the button control comes under the which library? You can also call it as a namespace. Okay, this button control comes under the library that is sap.m. Okay, so sap.m, it is the mobile library. Okay, so but if user want that button to be responsive, so that's why they have SAP has already included these controls inside the sap.m library. Okay, so you can see here on the right hand side on the top the class sap.m.button. Okay, so this is the class where if you want to include the button, so make sure that this library must be included in your view file. Without that, your button cannot be means your SAP will not able to find out the button control. Make sure that whenever you will use the button control, make sure to first include the sap.m library in the view file. Okay, that we will come back when I will directly declare this. Okay, first understand what is the control. So control, it is just a, what is the control? Before can anyone tell me what is the control? Any idea about the control?
Where we handle user interaction.
Very good, very good. So button is the thing that where we will handle the user interaction. Okay, suppose this is the login page, and if I'm using the button control, so what will happen? A button can be displayed on the page. Okay, so wherever I want, a button can be displayed on top, wherever, in middle or in the footer, anything. So if so button is what it is? It is just a control that will decide what should be the appearance of our application. Okay, it is just a appearance. So button will be basically, a button can be combined with a button name. uh, any control means, control is a combination of your class name, sorry, your library name and your control name. Okay, so on the top you can see this SAP.m. SAP.m, it is a library name, and followed by dot operator, and then we have the control name. Okay, so whenever, if you are using the button control, then it must be, make sure that this your SAP.m library must be included in that. Okay, so now before I write the code for the button control in XML file, let me tell you what is the properties. What are the properties? What are the association? Okay, so for this, okay, so now this is the button control. So what is the property? Property means suppose this is the button. What will happen? A button will be displayed here, right? And we have the properties like, first is the text. So what would be the text? Text means once you declare the text property for the button control, a text can be displayed inside the button. Okay, so it is just it will just make some changes in your appearance of a control based on the properties. Whichever the property you will use, based on that properties, what will happen? Your appearance of control will change. Okay, suppose if I want to add the text, so I will include this property text in the button control, and whichever the text I will write, or I will enter this inside the text property, so that text will be displayed on the button control. Okay, so there we do have number of properties that SAP has already provided for us. So make sure that first you search for a button, and once the button is selected, whichever the control you select, that library has to be included in the view file, and whatever the SAP is providing, like properties. Okay, for the property we have the text type, we have so many things. So for each property we have the description also. Okay, let's say that we have used the text, right? For the text, it's saying the description as determines the text of the button. Okay, so this is just a property. So if someone asks you what if someone says that what is the properties in the control, so you can definitely say that it just changes the appearance of your control. Okay, if you want to change any appearance of your control, if you want to change the look and feel, that can be done with the help of the properties. Okay, so now what is the association? Association means it's just a indirect relationship. Okay, suppose let's say this is the login page. Okay, here it is a login page. So in login page we have input field, right? And we also have the label. Suppose the username, it is the label, a text which is the displayed, and under the label we have the input field, right? So indirectly, what means the label, this label is completely associated with the input field, right? Because that input, that username is saying that you need to enter the username inside the input field. So that is nothing but an association. Okay, just understand that thing. Then we have events. So what is the event? So for the button, if I include the button, so when I click on the button, an event will be triggered. Okay, in SAP term, the actions can be known as events. Okay, so when I click on the button, what will happen? An event will be triggered. Okay, so that's why under this event section you can see whichever the events that are available for your button control. Okay, so we have the press event and we also have the tap event. So these events will be triggered when you click on the button. Okay, and whatever the so in this event you will define the function. Okay, and for that function you have to write some logic, so then only based on that button click you can perform anything whichever you want. Okay, so just understand that the events means it is just a user action that that actions will be captured. Okay, so what about the methods? So methods means, so normally for every control we have the setter and the getter methods. Okay, so for example, so this is the button. Okay, on button. So yesterday in the JavaScript we have already seen, right, on the string. Suppose there is a string and on that string you want to perform, what you want to perform, you want to make it as index of, or you want to search, or you want to find out something, or you want to just remove some part of the string, right? So for that we have the methods, right? Same like in SAP UI5 also, for the button the methods are associated with it. You cannot call the method directly, you have to call the method on the button control. Okay, methods cannot be called independently. A function can be called, but methods are not. Methods are always associated with your source, like button in this case. So let's say I have the property. Okay, I have the property like text. Okay, so this is the text property, but we also have the method like set text. Okay, I'll just scroll down. So there is a set text. So with the help of this set text method, what can you do? You can directly set the text to this button control. This generally these properties you can define in XML file or also in the controller file. We will see much more in detail when you can actually see the how to declare the controls. Okay, that once you familiarize with the declaration of the controls, then you will easily get to know. Okay, all these things. As of now, just understand that, just try to understand that text, for each properties we also have the methods. Okay, if you want to add anything, that you can do with the help of these methods, but that would be completely based on the condition. Okay, in some cases, suppose let's take the button is there. For button I have to add the icon, but in certain condition only I have to add the icon, but in certain condition not. In that case you will be using the methods. Okay, there is a set icon method. So once you click on that icon, automatically it says the property setter for the icon. So inside that you have this set icon method, and inside what is this S icon? S icon means this is just a path of your icon. Okay, that's it. So any questions in this? Properties, association, events and methods. There is also one more thing, aggregation, that we will see when we actually work on the models. Okay, aggregation is one more thing that is pending. So any questions in this, the properties, association, events and methods?
Yes, I have one question.
Yeah.
For the button, for example, let's take for example, if we create a one button, right?
Okay.
So we only choose the option from the given list of events or methods,
Yes.
or we can we can create our custom events or methods.
Yeah, that is also possible. So SAP has already provided one more option, that is the custom controls. Okay, so
Okay.
custom controls are some advanced topics. Okay, it's not included now because for that a lot of core JavaScript knowledge is also required. Okay, so if you want to develop your own control, that is also possible in SAP UI5. But I think SAP says that it's sufficient, because normally what happens, there are a lot of issues if you are developing your custom controls. Okay, the maintenance support is much more required.
These all events are different, like a button for the button type there is some different events and method. Then menu button,
Yes,
there is also some.
radio button. For radio button also, if you choose this radio button, let's wait. For each and every control, descriptive information is already there, provided by SAP. Okay, you don't have to worry on this. For radio
Okay.
button, we have the separate event like select. Okay, once you select this
Mm-hmm.
event, so for that a description is already provided for it. Okay, that what that event does, when that event will be triggered. Okay,
Okay.
any questions?
No.
Okay. So now let's declare our first control. Okay, how to declare this control in web ID in our project. Okay, so now let me tell you this. So what they have done, so this is our structure. Okay, normally you declare the control inside the view file. Okay, you declare the control inside the view file, and inside the view we have the control app, and again we have the aggregation as a pages, and again make sure to follow these things. Okay, follow this structure as it is, don't make any changes as of now. So we have the pages, and inside the pages we have the page control. Okay, so inside the page control we have the content. Okay, so inside the content we will declare the button control. So now what is this controller name on the top? So in the view we have the controller name. So this is one kind of a property also, you can say, for the view name. So for each view we already know, right, SAP follows the MVC architecture, so we are not going to write any JavaScript code inside the XML file. Okay, so that XML file will be written inside the controller file, right? So that's why whenever you will create any new view file, let's say for this the login page, it is our view file. So each view file is associated with its controller file. Okay, for each view file we have one controller file. So whenever if you create any new view file, make sure you have to create one controller file for that view. Okay, so in this controller name, so this is the path in which our controller file is present for that view. Okay, so what is this com.login? So this com.login means this is the namespace. Okay, that namespace that we have provided while creation of the project, and this z login is our project name, right? After that we have dot. After that this is the controller means this is the folder name. Okay, so this is the folder name, and inside that which file we have, login page. Okay, so dot controller.js, that's the extension is not required. Okay, while defining the path. Okay, so this is the path they have defined for this controller name. Then what is this XML_ns:/HTML? Okay, so this XMLs:/HTML, this XML_ns means the XML namespace. Okay, so before we use any control, we have to first include the library. Same as there are some other libraries also included, right? For example, XML_ns:/MVC. So this MVC we can see that is already prefixed with the controller name, right? So this is our control view. So every control is prefixed with its namespace. Why? Because this view is included, this view control is available inside the library sap.ui.core.mbc, and for this namespace we have defined one new alias name, right? So :mbc, you can give any name, right? By default the SAP has provided MVC, but if I want to change this name, I can do it. That is also work. But if I changing the name, the alias, if I'm changing the alias name, that must be prefixed with this one. Okay, I have to change. Okay, so once that is done, automatically the errors will be gone. So if you are doing any changes, automatically a star mark will come in your file. So this means that the file is being edited and you have to save the changes. Okay, just click on this save button. So once you save, automatically the star will be gone. Okay, so now in this case the view is a control, right? So now why they have included this one? Because let me search for the view. I'll search for the view. I'll scroll back, I'll scroll down. Okay, so now view. So where the view is located, once I click on this view, it is located in which namespace?
SAP UI core MVC
Right,
library.
right. sap.ui.core.mvc. So that's why this before we use any control, make sure that library is already included in the view file. Okay, and at a time only one namespace can be by default. Okay, so this we don't have here alias name, right? We don't have here a colon or alias name. Why? Because this namespace is by default. Why? Based on your requirement, suppose you are using the more controls associated with this library sap.m. Okay, with this library you are using the more controls, so you don't have to prefix the alias name, right? That is not required. So that's why the library which is more important, the controls which you are going to use mostly, so in that case you have to you can make that control or the namespace as a by default. Okay, for that thing don't specify any alias name. Okay, like this. Okay, so now by default XML NS, the mobile library sap.m, so this mobile library is already included and it is by default. So if I'm using any control, I don't have to prefix the alias name, I don't have to use the I don't have to declare the control in this manner. Okay, so I'll declare the control button. So when you write anything, make sure you so before you declare any control, you follow the syntax like this. Use this tag button, the opening tag followed by the button. So always the control name, the character, first character must be in capital letters. Okay, it should not be in a smaller case. Okay, so first character would be in capital. I'll write BUTT. Automatically it will give me the option. Okay, just click on the right navigation, so automatically it will write. So now you're worried about how would I know the syntax of this button, right? How the controls are declared in the XML. So for that, in SAP UI5 SDK we have the sample space. Okay, so under the samples I'll search for the button. Okay, so these are the controls which are already available. Okay, you can directly find out the controls which are available, and based on your requirement, if you want to find out any control, you can do it with, you can easily do it with the help of this sample space. So I'll search for the button. Once I search, I can see one option, button. Okay, so once I click, we have to select this option. So once you run this, so SAP will directly give you these options, like we have these different buttons, the different button look and feel that is already available, and so there is also in footers also the buttons are possible. So this button, looking at this, you can easily identify, right, which button you want to display or you want to design it on your UI page, right? So let's say I want to design this button. I'll just click on this. So this is there is this icon. Okay, what it will display, this will just give you the source code. Once you click on this, it will give you the source code of the button. Okay, how the button is declared. Okay, so how they are declaring the button, this opening tag, after that the button, and the type means this is the property for the button, and press means it is the event. Okay, but I will not copy this initially. Okay, as you are beginner, you should not copy these things, you should not copy any code from this sample space. Why? Because suppose anything went wrong inside this control, okay, you are not aware of the syntax also, right? How would you get to know that where is the issue in the XML file? Because finding the errors in XML file is very hard. In controller file, in controller it's okay, you can easily debug the code and you can easily identify the error, but XML files cannot be debugged at a runtime. Okay, yesterday we have seen, right, how to debug in JavaScript. That the same thing you can easily do in the SAP UI5 application, but in case of XML file you cannot debug it. Okay, only one error can be displayed at the same time. If anything, suppose if there is a wrong in a button, but still you the error can be displayed that the something is wrong in the XML file. Okay, let's say I'm just saving it and I'll run this. Sorry, I don't have to run this. Already I have the running application, right? I just have to reload this one. Automatically the changes will be reflected. Now when there is an error, you can see the page like this. Okay, it means that something might happen. Okay, so something wrong might happen, and so you need to check the console, right? So in order to open the console, just right click, check the click on inspect option. I'll check whether any issue is already across the console. I have to go to the console. Okay, just open this console tab. Check the error. See what it says. Error. It says the login page.view.xml could not be loaded. Anything, if you are making any, if you're writing any wrong thing in the button, or if you're making any syntax error in page, also any control at the time of control definition, if you're making any wrong things, okay, in the syntax, so you will get the same error. Okay, so it would be very hard for you to identify, and you cannot debug this file. So before making any changes, make sure that first you make sure you try to understand the syntax of each and every control. Okay, don't copy the code from this one. Okay, this is my just request. As you are beginner, just try to type each and every control, okay, by hand, by typing. Then only you guys would be able to understand, okay, the syntax, how the controls are defined in the XML file. Okay, so let's say I have declared this button control, and then I'll just open the I'll open the namespace for the button. Okay, so that you guys would be able to understand how I can utilize the API reference. Okay, so now okay, I have clicked. So now I have to include some properties, right? Which are the properties available? Let's say I'll copy this text. Okay, I'll copy this text. I'll give equal to, whenever you will use any control, so if you sorry, any property, make sure that include the value to it. Okay, so text, this is the property name, and the property names will always be in the small case. Okay, so the text is in the small case followed by equal to sign, and so inside the double quotes you need to specify. Okay, without this double quotes you cannot declare the value. If you're, suppose if I'm declaring like this button is for login, and after that I'm just closing this button tag. Okay, I'm saving it. Still you will get an error, syntax error, attribute login missed, quote, right? That's why any control you will discuss, any control or any property you declared inside the button control, make sure that the value, whichever the value you assign to that property, it should be inside double quotes. Okay, just use the double quotes or single quote. Single quote is also fine. Okay, I'm just saving it. You can click on Control S, so that will save your code. So I will now just reload the app. See, once I done, so automatically the login control, sorry, the button control is displayed on the UI. You're getting it, right? How the controls are defined, how the controls are means they can be declared inside the view file. It's easy, right? Why I have not used any the alias name? Because this button is included inside the SAP.m library, and for that this is the default namespace, and that's why I don't have to use any prefix name. If this was not a default name now, then whatever, suppose if I'm giving any name, that this is the suppose this is the M library, so I have to make sure that I have to prefix this namespace with button control like this. Okay, then only it will work. If I'm saving this, if I reload, okay, so it will not work. Now let's check the error. What is the error? So what is saying? Fail to load null app.js, not found. So this can be a different errors, and it would be very hard for you to understand that how it can be possible. Why it's giving the error? Because the app. Why it's giving the error? Any idea? Because this app, the app control, it's included inside the library sap.m. Okay, so that's why I have to also prefix this app with the m alias name. Okay, m colon. Again for pages also, let's open the app here. Okay, so this is the app. So for aggregations also, this is the aggregation. We will discuss this aggregation in the coming sessions. Okay, don't worry on that. Okay, now for page also, I have to give the alias name as m. So see, in so many places I have to declare this m, right? So it's time consuming. That's why whichever the control you will use, if you are using the control more for that respect to that library, then make sure that make that library as a default. So then you don't have to declare the alias name with prefix with your control. Okay. I will save now, and once I reload this app, see, it's loaded it, right? This is how it will work. Okay, so now so what you guys will do, okay, just open your web ID tool, just create a new project. I will give you 15 minutes for it. Okay, just open your web ID personal edition and try to use as many controls as possible. Okay, just try to declare the controls like button. We have the label control, text control. Okay, just declare all this control and just familiarize with it. Okay, I'm giving you the 15 minutes. We will connect at around 15 minutes, 40, 45. Sorry. We will connect around 5:55. Okay. Just be on mute in call and help each other. If you guys are able to, means you're facing any challenges. Okay. Okay, we will continue this call again at 5:55. Just be on call, but be on mute. I think Prem, hello? Prem, are you there?
Yes, yes,
Is
tell
your
me.
that installation part sorted out or not?
No, no, actually not yet. So I'm trying to install that. Actually, I have installed that JDK 86B, and then after I'm trying to installing that Eclipse application, but not able to install. So
Do one
I'm
thing.
just
Just share your screen. We'll do it now.
okay.
Yeah. You're able to see the option share. Are you able to see?
Yes, yes. Just a minute.
Just share your screen.
I'm looking for. Okay. I'm not able
Uh,
to like. I'm not able to find that option to share the
okay.
screen.
Okay. Wait. So apart from Prem, or what about the rest, guys? Have you guys configured the Web ID personal edition on your machine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Parshuram? I think you're new for this class, right? Hello? Who is this,
Yes. Yes.
Parshuram?
I'm new for this.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Parshuram, yesterday we have just covered the JavaScript. So today we just started the SAP UI5. So whatever means whichever I've completed till now, are you able to get it or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. We'll cover also, okay, that those things. But just share me your mail IDs, okay? Just share me your
Yeah.
mail
Yeah.
IDs so that I can share all the content with you, so that you can go through it once.
Sure.
The
Sure. I'm.
JavaScript
I'm.
part.
I'm just sending you.
Yeah, just send me on. I think you're already added it, right? I mean, you're included in the Teams, that WhatsApp group.
I think not yet because today just I joined this one.
Just
I'm
ping me
sharing my email
your
ID to
mail ID
you.
on chat.
Just I'm pinning you in chat.
I will just forward it to you.
Yes.
So in that setup is already there. Then you can directly download that setup. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm just pinning you my email ID. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
On this meeting itself. I have sent it.
Wait, there is no option for. Actually, I joined with the web browser.
Okay. Means no. Wait. I have to make you the co-host. Then only you should be able to see the share option. Okay. Just wait on. Just hold on.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Uh, so sorry. It's so Parshuram, I have forwarded the mail. Okay. So in that mail, the links are already there. You can just download. Okay. The yesterday's sessions recording also. Just keep it in your machine. Okay. And there is also the Web ID personal edition link. Just download the personal edition Web ID from that link. Okay. And after that, the JDK is also there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Sorry, Prem, right? Yes, I'm making you the co-host,
Yeah, right.
Prem. I, Supreme, can you please check now? Check if you're able to see the share option.
Okay.
You're not able to see?
No, not it.
Just hold on now.
Yes, yes.
Now?
Yes.
Now click.
Now,
Yeah, just click on share.
am I able to, like, are you able to see my screen?
Not yet. It's still loading. Yes, I can see now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have installed that JDK 86. What we say? It is into
it's a
86. That one version.
Windows 8 or Windows Vista. What it is?
It's Windows Vista. Sorry, Windows 7.
Windows 7. Okay.
Yes.
Windows. So
So
now
that,
you have extracted the file. Okay, that's fine.
yes, yes.
So what
I
about
have
the
installed this one, this Windows 86, 84. Okay. And it's successfully installed. Then after, I'm trying to install that Eclipse, that Oreo. So I'm getting this error. The version of this file is not compatible with the version of Windows you are running. With your computer system.
wait. Oh. Acha, show me your information about your computer. System information.
It's 32-bit operating system.
It's a 32-bit. For 32-bit x84, it should work.
But
Don't know means why it's not
x84 is
working
not
for
working.
you.
That, yeah, this one is installed. x84 for JDK is installed successfully. But that Eclipse application, I'm not.
Okay, but that Eclipse is not open. I mean, sorry, that file is not opening. Orion.
Yes, Eclipse is installed successfully. x86,
Just show me
but
your
this Orion file is not.
Yeah, show me your installed applications.
These are the installed applications.
Do one thing. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
So just uninstall that thing. I think do one thing. Uninstall all the Java related things. Java 8 is there, right? Java 8, Java 8, Java SE development. Uninstall all these things, and now then after that, just install the setup that you have downloaded for the JDK.
Okay. Okay.
Check if any other setup is there or not with related to the Java.
Okay. Okay, I will do.
Once you're done with it, I don't know means otherwise I have to look for any other option for you.
Okay. We'll check and inform. You know?
Yeah. Okay. So rest of you guys, you're practicing it, right?
So shall I
Yes,
stop
sir.
the share? Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, we have 1 week for you so that you guys can practice it, right? So maybe in that 1 week, I am expecting from you guys to practice, so I mean as much as control as possible. Okay, just explore the controls, all the controls, and you have to share your screen and you have to show me that you have. But make sure I will ask you the questions and syntax also. Okay. I just want that
Okay.
you guys to please practice or please properly utilize the 1 week, the next 1 week, in which for the JavaScript and also for the UI5 controls, create, explore, just explore the different controls. Then only you will able to understand, means based on the requirement you can easily identify that which control must means it can be suitable for that requirement. Okay. Okay, so we'll wait for more 5 minutes. Around 6 we will start. Okay guys, so are you done with the task? Can you hear me guys? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so till now we have seen a simple control declaration. Okay, now let's see how the responsiveness, how to check the responsiveness of your application. Okay, whichever the control you add, so mostly we will try to use the control with respect to the with respect to our SAP.m, because that library is specifically meant for the mobile. Okay, so now what we will do, we will design a new login page. Okay, and in the login page we will add some buttons in the footer. Okay, so and we will also change the title from the login. So let's do it now. So this is the title which in which the title is coming. So this is why it is the I18, and it's kind of a different concept. We have this topic in a separate session. Okay, the I18 one. So I will remove that one, and instead of that I will write the login. Okay, so now instead of giving the button, I'll delete it. So I will include one more control. Okay, so now new control. So for login page, which things we require? First is a username. After that we need an input field, right? Also same like the username, we also need the password field, right? One label for the password, and after that one input field. Okay, so once that all filled, in the footer we need one button, a login button. Okay, so this is only the simple login page that we can design. So what we will do, so this is our content. I will create one control. Okay, which control I will create? For creating the forms, we have one control, that is a simple form. Sorry, just hold on. Sorry, Control Y. I will remove. So I'll just go back to the SDK. Okay, there I will search for the simple form control. I'll check for simple form. So okay, this is our simple form. So the simple form control is located into which library? So this is included in sap.ui.layout.form. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll copy this library, and after that I'll just go back. Sorry, Control Z. I'll write XML ns colon. I don't have to write because none of them are default, right? By default is none of them. So I will make this library as a default. So for that I don't have to specify the alias name. So I can directly give equal to, and in double quotes I'll just paste it. Okay, sap.ui.layout.form. That's it. So now my simple form is related to. I can directly define simple form. That's it. Simple form. Okay. So inside the simple form we have the aggregation concept. So I'll just go, this is the aggregation concept. Okay. So what is the aggregation? We have the content. So normally we have already seen, right, this page for inside the page we have the content, and inside the content we have the controls, right? So in this case what is happening, this page is a control, but it acts as a container. Okay, it acts as a container for this simple form or any control whichever we declare inside the content. So the simple form is not this page is nothing but in aggregation it acts as a container for its child elements. Okay, so these are nothing but these are the child elements for this page control. So page is acting as a parent for this simple form. So if you destroy the page, automatically this simple form will also be destroyed. Okay, so what is the aggregation? So aggregation nothing but it just a concept of the container, means whichever control having the concept of aggregation supports the aggregation, means which means that control can act as a container, and in container we can declare as much as controls, okay, and that controls can be called as the child controls. So now simple form is a child control of the parent page, okay. So same like simple form, inside the simple form we can also include some more controls, okay. So for that control, simple form will act as a parent, okay. So this is our content, right? Aggregation is content. I'll just copy, and always the aggregation can be in small case. So I'll declare the content. I'll close this. And inside the content, I will declare the child elements. So what we need first? So for the form design, we need first label, right? First we will add the username label, and after that we need the input field. So what I will do? I will first add label, and for label we have the property text equal to, directly write username, and I'll just close this tag, okay. Make sure to close the control tag. So in order to close, use this backslash, and after that closing one. Same that I will declare one input control, and I will not give any value inside the input control, okay, because I want this value from the user, okay. Same like that, I'll also add for the password, okay. So now I'll just save. Now just go back to your page. I'll just reload it. Okay, so once I reload, this label input, these controls are included that are available inside the M library, okay. So I have to prefix with M library. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Actually, I have one doubt. In SAP, we are getting that activate and save button, right, and check button. Here we are using the same, or we are only like pressing the save button.
Sorry. Where you're getting the activate?
Yeah, in SAP, in ABAP, while we writing the code or creating the program, so we are
okay. Got it. I got it. So in SAP ABAP we have activate and okay, check also, right?
Check button.
So in UI5 that is not a case. You just have to save it and you can run the app directly. But make sure to save first. A check kind of thing is not there, but instead of check, if you are making any syntactical error, so in that case what will happen? So automatically error can be displayed here like a cross mark. Okay. That's syntax error. But there is no check and activate kind of thing here.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll just say I have to specify the alias name. This alias name, it's normally a namespace name, our library name. Okay. I will reload it now. Now it should work. Okay. See, I'm able to see the login with the username colon. So I have not specified the colon, right? From where it is coming? Because the simple form it is kind of a control which is mainly meant for the form designing. Okay. So whenever any new label is displayed, okay, whenever you declare a label inside the means, suppose when you run this application, okay, so how simple form is simple form control is working on the logic like, if SAP find out the label, so that label would be considered as a new line. Okay, so that's why what happened for the second label, again the new line is appended, right? This new line, automatically the password was allocated to the next line. That was the case with simple form, but it only works in the simple form. This concept, simple form identifies the label as a new line. Whenever if you add one more label, automatically one more line will come. but the input will automatically, the input it was already appended to the left right hand side to the label, right, with this, and the colons are also appended in the simple form with the label in order to add some separator between the label and the input field. So now I'm able to see the login page, but I can see the username label is quite up, right? It's not exactly parallel with our input field. There is some slight layout, the layout is not proper. So what I will do, in order to make the username and password field exactly level to this input field, so we have, so in simple form we have two kind of properties, okay, two kind of cases. A simple form can be used as a display purpose, or it can also be used as a for the input purpose, okay. If you want to take any input, so for the input I can I can have the input fields, right, but for the display purpose, why we should need the input fields, right? In that case we don't need the input fields, because if you just want to display the information, in that case we don't have to use the input field, we can directly use the label or the text also. But though we are using it as a for taking the input from the users, so for that we have to add one property as editable as true. So once you make the editable as true, so that this simple form is can for the edited purpose. So once I reload this, I've added the property editable true. See, automatically our username and password is aligned with the input field, right? So I think you guys are getting it right.
Yes.
Okay. So now I have to add one more thing. Now what is happening here? So we have added the username and password, but we don't want this input field so long, right? We just want this input field to be, I think this is sufficient till here for taking the username and password. We don't want the rest of the input field. We can just reduce the width of the input field. So in order to reduce the width of the input field, I have to first add the layout. Okay, so layout is also one kind of property. You can find it. Because I have already done a lot of work on this, so this thing is already there in my mind. Okay. So if you want to check what available options are there for the layout, for that you can directly click on control space. Once you click on the control space, it can give the different options which are available for this layout. Okay. So as of now, I'll just select the responsive grid layout. Okay. So this is the option that I will select. Oh, sorry. Control space. So automatically these options will appear. What it is? Okay. Okay. So after doing the layout as a responsive grid layout, then I will add some more properties like I will add empty columns in the end. Okay. So in simple form, how the simple form works? The simple form works in the 12 column layout. Okay, so let's consider the 12 columns from start to the end. Okay, and this page is entirely divided into the 12 columns from beginning onwards till end. Okay, so now our label is, let's say that our label is taking 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 columns. Our input field is taking rest 6 columns. Okay, 6 or 7 columns, because simple form works on the layout structure like 12 columns. Okay, max 12 columns. So whichever the control you will use inside the simple form, that can automatically, that controls will be divided into the 12 columns. Okay, now so username is taking around 4 or 5 columns, and input field is taking rest 6 columns. Okay, and in the end we can also add the empty space if we want. Okay, though the input field is taking all the space, that's why we cannot see the empty space, right? So what I will do, I will add some empty space in the end of input field, so that what will happen, this input field can be reduced, the height, the width can be reduced, okay, of the input field. To reduce the width of the input field, I will add some empty space in the end. So how to add the empty space? So for that we have the properties like empty span. Okay, empty span. Okay, so once I type the empty span L, so we have the different properties like empty span L, empty span S, empty span XL, also the empty span M. So what is this L, M and S? So first I'll add the property and then I'll explain you. Okay, for S I'll say we will add 5 columns empty span. 5 columns must be empty after the input fields. Okay, same I will say for empty span for M. In medium, for medium also I'll add 4 columns. Okay, and then empty span XL. For S not required. For the empty XL. Okay, for XL also I will define the 5. Okay, so now I'll just save and I'll just reload it. So once I reload, you can see automatically at least our the input, the width of the input is reduced, right? But it's not looking good. It's not entirely in the center. Why? Because we have to add one more property for the label, because we don't want that label to adjust automatically. Okay, so for that I'll say adjust label span as false. Once I do it, then I'll save and then I'll reload it. See, now it's pretty good, right? At least. So I'll remove some empty span from L. Instead of giving 5, I'll make it as a 4. And for XL also I'll make it as 4. Now we will check. See, now it's fine, right? It's exactly in the center. Are you getting it, guys? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I've done, I'll explain you. Okay, so what about these properties? Empty span L, empty span M and empty span XL. So this empty span L means for the large screen. Normally now I'm running this application on the laptop, so majorly it takes the large screen. And if the screen, some screens for example which are 4K or that are bigger than the full HD, right? So that kind of screen, it normally takes the size as a XL. Okay, but for laptop maybe it's taking the L size, large screen, because my laptop is just a HD, that's why. So the resolution is around 720p. So normally it takes the L size. What about this M size? It will take the M size. It will consider the M when you will run this application on the tablet. Okay, in case of tablet, majorly it will take the M. And what about this XL? For the large screen? There is also the S for the small screen. Okay, just understand these things. So what about the layout? So layout, we have the responsive grid layout. We also have the responsive layout. So these are the layout options that are already defined in this one. If you want, I can show you that one. Layout. See, inside the layouts, we have some couple of options: column layout, grid layout, responsive grid layout, and layout. So these are the layouts which completely works. So you can choose based on your preference. Okay, it is not possible to explain each and everything. You have to learn these things based on your layouts. Okay, whichever the layout the client wants, based on that you can just include this. Okay, so based on that layout, what happened? So my automatically the structure will change. Okay, so left hand side the label is taking the, maybe it's because we haven't specified any label, right? That we can also specify the labels. So there is also that thing. I'll just go back. Simple form works in 3 ratio. Okay, it works in this kind of ratio. The ratio like first the label. Okay, the first labels are taken. Middle is the fields like input, and after that the empty columns. Okay, so and it is completely divided in 12 columns. Always remember your layout is divided into the 12 columns. Okay, so our label is taking around 4 or 5 columns. Our input field is taking I think it's 3 or 4, and the rest columns are taken by the empty columns. Okay, in this manner. So that's why when I add the empty span L, so automatically in the end the empty space has been added. Okay, are you getting this concept for the simple form?
Yes.
Okay, so what if I want to change the space of the label? Okay, that can I can also do that one. So let me check. Okay, so we have the label span L, we have the label span M, and label span S. Okay, so what I will do for the last screen, I would say I'll just go back. I'll add for the L size. I will say I will just give the 2 columns. Okay, for the label. Now I'll save and I'll just reload. Let's check whether it will update or not. See, automatically it changes, right, for the label, because I've just seen that for the label it should only take the 2 columns. So our label is just taking the 2 column size. If I'm saying the label to take 4 columns, so automatically it will take the 4 columns length. Okay, it will take the 4 columns width, right? So this is how it will work. And as of now we haven't specified any length, right? Any columns for specific columns for the input field. So that's why whatever the columns left after giving the columns to the label and the empty for making it empty, so the remaining columns are taken by the input field. So that's why it's displayed in exactly in the center. Every time your input field will come in the center only, means based on whatever the layout you want. Okay, it can be bottom also. If you want the username to be up and your label to be down, that will also can be done. Okay, so now this is just your login page. So we have to add one more footer, right? So footer can be added to the page. So so we have the aggregation of content. So same aggregation of content, we also have the aggregation of footer. Okay, after the content I will add the aggregation of footer. M colon oh sorry. Okay, so inside the footer I will use one control, bar. A bar is one kind of a control. Okay, it mainly used for the header or the footer. Okay, so that's why I'm using the bar control. And inside the bar, so what I have to do, I will place the login button exactly on the right hand side. Okay, in the footer section, so we have the aggregation of content right. Content right, we have the aggregation. So echo. And inside that I'll just add one more button. Okay, because on right hand side I have to add button, right? Button, I'll give the text as a login. That's it. I'll save and now I will reload. See, automatically what happens, one footer is been created, and inside the footer one login button on the right hand side has been added. Okay, so this is just a simple. Now how to check the responsiveness of your the page that we have created, right? So we just want to check whether this app looks perfectly fine in mobile or in tablet, or that how is there any way that we can check? Yes, we can check. Why? How? By inspecting. Let's right click on the inspect. Okay, I'll just I will reduce the space. So now it's taking in the iPhone SE. Okay, so this is the iPhone SE. I'll increase the width. So this is the iPhone SE. Okay, in iPhone we have the different emulators that you can check. We also have the iPad. So in iPad also how it will look. So in iPad it's taking so if my screen will look like this, because we have just specified the space for the columns for the L, right, for the L space. If I'm adding the for M, because medium, generally for the medium the iPad takes the tablets. Okay, for if I'm specifying the columns length for the M, then automatically our form will be exactly in the center. Okay, so what I will do, I will make sure that I will select the iPhone 6 or anything. So you can see we haven't specified the username, right, on the top, and see automatically your input field wrapped to the second line, right? You don't have to do anything. Automatically your control adjusted to the different screen layouts. Okay, so before you check your application on the mobile devices like this emulator, make sure that you reload the app, because as of now only the desktop libraries are loaded, not mobile. So in order to check the responsiveness of your application, make sure you reload the app. So what will happen, SAP will automatically download the mobile related libraries in order to make your application look and feel similar to the mobile. Okay, so we have just reloaded it. So you can see on the top, on the first we have the label, and followed, so automatically our input field is wrapped to the next line. So same, the password and the input field wrapped to the next line. So this is how we develop the responsive web application in SAP UI5. Okay, so any questions?
No, sir.
Yes, you just go in the corner.
Sorry.
Just go into that code.
Okay.
Okay. In here, line number 7, sample form, right? So why we not put that em dot before the sample form?
Why we haven't prefixed it, right, with the
Yes,
namespace?
yes.
Because in the view normally only one namespace can be default, and for the default namespace you don't have to specify the alias name. Okay, so I have made the sample form as a alias, as a default namespace. So that's why I don't have to prefix the namespace with the control name. Okay, but for the rest only one namespace can be default. Rest I have to add the alias name. See, for example, let's see, I am also making this as a default one. Okay, I'll make this as a default, so it will automatically throw the error. Okay, you cannot make the two libraries the by default at the same time. Just make only one can be by defaulted. Are you getting this?
Yes, you mean like line number 2, we are defining that alias from that SAP UI layout form, right? So if we select that radio button or any something button, then we if we declare here for in line number 2 for that radio button alias, so we don't need to put that initial before that. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay, so today's agenda, I think I have covered it. So we have half an hour. So you guys can just do one thing, create one new project and create this login page. Okay, design this login page that I've already designed, right? Just try by yourself. Okay, just try to design this page similar that I have designed. I'll be on mute, and please help each other, do the teamwork.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So today's session is over. Hello. Avik?
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Today's
Yeah.
session is over?
Yes, yes. Today's session is over.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Will
So
you
what
share
time
this?
you have to be in call? Our call would be means it will get at around 7 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I'm giving you this time half an hour to practice it because
okay,
while
okay,
doing the
okay.
practice, if
Okay, got
you
it.
face any issues, you can ask me.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah. I'll be on mute. I will just share the screen design. Okay, the login page. Just try to make us exactly similar to like this. Okay, just try to design the page similar. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Hello everyone. Is it
Yes,
done?
sir. Yes, sir, I have done it.
I've done. Okay. So any issues you faced it, or you're able to do it?
No, I have done it. No issues.
Okay. What about rest?
I wanted to see the part of label span.
Acha. Okay. You have any doubts, or you can do it?
Actually, I wanted to see the code. Actually, I have added it, but it isn't reflecting.
Okay. If you want the code, you can also refer the the sample space. Okay. The samples, in the samples there is already a simple form. If you want to find out,
Okay.
there also you can see the code. This is just a one control. There are so many controls you have to explore. Okay, that's why in this week, so within this week, I think you should try to figure it out how many controls you can work with. Okay, just explore as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just practice that only I need. Maybe from next topic that will be some advance, and maybe some logical thinking also is required. Screen designing is one part of logical thinking only. Okay, if any requirement comes from the client, if client asks you that whether this is possible or not, whether means can we design the page in this way or not, you have to answer it, right? But how you can answer whether if you're already not explored the controls? Okay, that's why I'm saying first explore the controls, then you would be able to understand this is possible or not. Otherwise you cannot say to the client, no, this is not possible directly.
Yes.
Okay, should we wrap up this call for today? So what task I am giving you to the guys, that for you are, I think so today is what? Today is 16. You have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, till, and you have 5 days in hand. Okay, in this 5 days, I want you to practice JavaScript and the controls. How the controls are defined in the UI5. Okay, in the views. Utilize your time properly. That will definitely benefit you only. Okay, not me, because I've already done these things.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's connect on Saturday. That is on 22nd, and the timing would be the same, 4 to 7.
Okay.
And if you are not able to understand any property, so just refer the API reference for any property. Understand the description. Okay, so the description is already provided for each and every property, and the methods also. As of now, don't explore the methods, but at least try to explore the property section for each control. Try to define that control in UI5 and use the whichever means all. Try to utilize all the properties from the API reference. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, chalo then. Thank you everyone.
Will you please provide the today's session recording? If we are stuck anywhere, then we will refer that.
No.
And
Yes, I will provide today only. Okay, today's video.
okay, fine. Thank you.
We'll share. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chalo, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.